Well, hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to Full Credit to Not Another Joey John's Blue Waffle podcast. I'm your special guest, former legend. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and that dick blister platform that is Blue Sky at former_legend. And let's kick off with what caught my senses in the past 7 days. And quite frankly, it's all these other sports who aren't setting the example that rugby league is. Now, firstly, this week we've had Davey Warner, who headed to court to hear the judge's decision on his drink driving matter. For those that aren't up to speed, Davey blew over double the limit at Easter time after pulling up before the breath test station and sliding over to the passenger seat in an effort to trick the cops. Let's not forget, this is the same dum-dum who convinced Cam Bancroft to put sandpaper in his undies and then go out to a cricket field where there were 22 cameras watching him. So when you Google criminal mastermind, the face of D. Warner isn't likely to pop up anytime soon. Just keep that in mind. But Warner's lawyer argued that the judge should go easy on him because a tough decision could affect his ability to earn money as a commentator. Well, thankfully the judge didn't fall for that one. As we all know, anytime Davey picks up a microphone, he affects his own ability to earn money as a commentator. His lawyer also argued that his client should be let off because he's getting pumped on social media. But if you've seen his dancing videos with his missus on TikTok, you know he deserves every bit of that pizzling he's copping. Fair dinkum, one of those videos has given me eye aids. And obviously we can't say too much about what's happening down there at the Sydney Swans, so I'll just ask this. How's that no dickheads policy going these days, boys? Thankfully, we still have rugby league to show the sporting public how athletes should be behaving. Don't let me down, boys, for fuck's sake. Anyway, enough of that. Let's do a rapid recap of round 24, which is, of course, the annual Eshays round, where anyone dressed in Nike TN sneakers, who carried a bum bag, wore an Adidas windbreaker with a rat's tail, and spoke in pig Latin was given free entry into each NRL game, meaning the Knights let their entire crowd into the ground for nothing on Sunday. But let's start on Thursday night, when the Roosters were too strong for an injury-depleted Panther side at Spurbank Stadium, winning 12 points to 6. Now, despite all the lead-up in this game being about Sam Walker holding out his negotiations with the Chooks moving forward, it was his halves partner, Daly Telegraph, who showed he still has a bit to offer, scoring both the Roosters' tries and completely carving up for a bloke in his late 40s who wears the red shorts so you can't tackle him above his waist. Not long after the game, the man they call DCE announced he was going over to Super League, but fuck playing for Catalans in the south of France, he's heading to Hull. And for those playing at home, there's a reason Hull rhymes with dull. The win put the Roosters at the top of the table with 3 rounds to go, as Penrith have lost 5 of their past 8 games. Or as the Tigers would call it, numbers we can only dream of. Friday, and the Dolphins battered a tired-looking Sea Eagles side 22 points to 0 at Foreskin Park. It was the first time in 33 years that Sea Eagles have failed to score a point at their home ground, and to be honest, it's been even longer since I even gave a shit if the Sea Eagles got belted. And Friday night adds to that record, as former legend got as hard as a cat's head watching Manly stand under the posts all night. Dolphins forward Connolly Lemuelu was sent to the sin for a professional foul. That gave Manly a huge opportunity in this game, but instead of exploiting the numerical advantage, the Seagulls showed unbelievable skill to make it look like they were the ones outnumbered. And Jermaine Asako put the icing on the cake in this one with a late try and slotted a goal to complete the 22-point routing and keep his own personal record of scoring in every game he's played for the Redcliffe team. Much like my record of scoring every time I drunk at the Vinyl Room. 1 from 1, baby. The second game on Friday from empty Blue Seat Stadium was when the Bunnies beat the Bulldogs 22 points to 6. Leading up to this game, pundits were telling us that a win would be a springboard for the Bulldogs to propel them into the finals. But by full time, they ended up looking like fucking Rick Disneck with a poor display that could only be put down to their sand shoe blowing out. Or maybe they just fucked up.
No, Daryl, I just fucked up.
You have to take your hat off to former Dragon and Bulldogs fullback Matt Duffy since he's returned back to Australia. Signing at the Bunnies for a pizza and a six-pack, Duffy has been remarkable at the back, keeping Jai 50 Shades of Grey out of the team with a stunning regular performances. In this game alone, he ran for 300 metres, he scored a try and had 2 line breaks. After the game, he drank 7 litres of his own bathwater, for anyone that knows him. Saturday, and the Raiders beat the Sharks at home at Ocean Outfall Stadium 24 points to 20. In a game where the Raiders had nothing to play for and the Sharks had everything to play for, it seems about right that Cronulla lost because that's what they do best. Even when they scored, it was bad. Braden Trindle dislocated his shoulder as he crossed for a try. The most Cronulla of all Cronulla things to do. And in this game, Nacho Hines went a perfect 4 from 4 with a boot, which might have been handy fucking 7 days ago when he was kicking for Hazem El Masri's record. Or as I knew it, Sharks doing Sharks things. But probably the biggest talking point to come out of this one was the fact that the Raiders finally showed us the form that they'd been threatening all year to get a win after they're officially out of the running for the semis. That is the most Sharks thing the Raiders could ever do. The second game on Saturday was at Spurbank Stadium, where the Eels ambushed the Cowboys 32 points to 30. The game was won when the milkman, Mitch Moses, got himself a penalty for a head high against him, despite his year-old dragon on the ground at the time. That penalty led to a penalty goal that won the Eels the game. Miraculously, despite being hit in the head and drawing a penalty, it was Moses who battled through stage 9 concussion to kick the goal.
Nothing sus.
Further adding to a tough afternoon for the Cowboys, the muffler, Helam Lukey, copped 10 in the bin for a high shot on Eels prop Luca Moretti. This victory was Parramatta's 8th win from their past 10 clashes against the Cowboys and was eerily close to emulating their 33 points to 30 win from earlier in the season. And the final game on Super Saturday, the Warriors bashed the Broncos 40 points to 6 at One Nationwide Australian Stadium. Despite winning just one of their past 11 heading into this game, Supercoach Madge Maguire had continuously driven a narrative that his players were putting in full effort each week. We can kiss that bullshit theory goodbye as Brisbane looked as interested as Miranda Kerr in my private messages to her on Instagram, still unread Miranda, making 7 errors, conceding 6 penalties, and were 500 metres behind the Warriors in metres gained for the night. About the only member of the Brisbane team happy with their poor performance on Saturday was that fat fuck Buck the Bronco, who did one lap of the oval for the entire evening and has dead set blown up like a toad in the past month. Sunday saw the Knights beat the Titans 36 points to 26 at Old McDonald Stadium. Throughout the afternoon, the Knights would stretch out a lead before the Titans could keep closing the margin. In fact, they scored 2 tries in the final minutes to close the gap, something Pauline Hanson will never be able to do. The Eshe demigod ran for over 200 metres for just the 5th time in his career. He scored a try and made 3 line breaks and set up another one to remind the locals what $2 million and a pair of TNs will buy you. And if your name was Fletcher, you're guaranteed a try on Sunday. 5'8" Fletcher Shoes got a double, while centre Jessica Fletcher also crossed for a meat pie. And the final game, it was another battle of the heavyweights as the Bye beat the Tigers at Spurbank Stadium 24 points to 22. Only a team of destiny like the Tigers could come off the Bye to be beaten by the Bye as their season goes from one bath with your toaster to the next. It was their 8th loss in a row for the Tigers, but thankfully we have our super coach Benji wrapped up tight for the next 15 fucking years or something. So any of you teams struggling, get your eyes off our coach because he's not going anywhere. And it was the first time in 12 months that the Dragons have won consecutive games in a huge vote of confidence for new coach Dean Young. Not that the lounge, Toby Couchman, would remember much about it. He got the mother of all Falcons when Richie Rich, Jerome Luai, kicked the ball full pace into his melon. Unbelievably, it didn't knock the lounge out, but it did put him on the ground long enough for him to pick up 8 $100 bills that had fallen out of Luai's shorts. Luai was later heard to say he wouldn't bend over to pick them up anyway. For those not sure how bad the Tigers are travelling right now, 2 of the best players for the Dragons in this one were Tyrell Sloan and Valentine Holmes, who both look like world beaters.
And that's all I have to say about that.
So that's round 24 wrapped up, boys. A round where the Bulldogs finally confirmed themselves as the frauds they are. The Sharks continue to drive daggers into their own fans' hearts. And the Tigers are struggling to avoid relegation. Back to you in the Timu Charlie White, Nathan Brooks Memorial Studio.